Willie D Live.
What's up, family? Barack Obama has stepped into the room and could be the final nail in the coffin for Trump's midterm hopes. Yeah, fam. Check it out. This is Barack and his message to the trumpets.
Early voting is underway, and Virginians are turning out in record numbers to vote yes. By voting yes, you have a chance to do something important, not just for the Commonwealth, but for our entire country. By voting yes, you can push back against the Republicans trying to give themselves an unfair advantage in the midterms. By voting yes, you can take a temporary step to level the playing field. And we're counting on you. Early voting is happening right now. Election Day is on April 21st. So go to iwillvote.com/VA to find your closest polling location. Make a plan, show up, and vote yes, Virginia. Hey, Virginia, early voting.
All right, fam. Y'all heard it. Early voting is underway, and Virginians are turning out in record numbers. So far, the yes vote has a slight edge on the no's. I think the yes vote is about 52%. The polls say that about 52% people say that they are in favor of redistricting. Now, why is that important? It is important because Donald Trump and the Republicans has used redistricting, otherwise known as gerrymandering, as a tool to gain an unfair advantage in the polls, in the votings, and voting. So what they're pretty much doing is redistricting and gobbling up seats in Congress. Seats that were Democratic seats. They have redrawn the map to gobble up those seats and make those seats and to include more people in those seats, in those areas who are likely to vote Republicans, right? And they have squeezed out the people who are likely to vote Democrat. So they redrew the lines. And this is what they always do. This is America. This is what America always does. Move the goalposts. Nobody moves the goalpost better than America. Nobody moves the goalpost better than Congress. They will say, hey, it's a fair fight. Let's go for it. Let's go. May the best man win. And then, and they say that because they know the deck is stacked and they're likely to win in the first place. But as soon as you catch on and catch up to them, or it looks like you might be catching up to them, but God forbid you catch up to them and surpass them, they are going to try to rewrite the rules. They did it with golf with Tiger Woods. They did it with basketball with Michael Jordan. They did it in business with BET. They did it in even in award shows. They redistrict, so to speak. Yeah, they move the goalposts time and time again. If a certain class of people starts to becoming successful in real estate, they try to move the goalposts again, try to make you have to qualify for different licenses now. Got to have X amount of college credits and stuff like that, for different jobs. As soon as they see that others are catching up or surpassing, they move the goalpost. Experts. We had a few years back, 19, count that, 19 Black women in Houston, Harris County area, who became judges. Every single one of these women who ran for office won. All 19, they were a pack, all 19 won. You know what they did? as soon as the voting came back around for each one of those seats, first thing that they did was try to discredit them, say that they wasn't qualified, even though they had already, now they have, some already had experience, but for the ones who didn't have experience, they try to say, well, they're inexperienced. They shouldn't be judges. They try to question their education. They try to question their ethics. Everything they did. This is before they would even put up a candidate to run against them. They just started coming for them. And guess what happened? What the Democratic Party did? These were all Democrats, by the way. And guess what the Democratic Party did? Sat on their hands, watched it happen, watched some of those women lose their seats while the other ones fought for their lives. Yeah. Why would they do that? Because the Democratic Party, they only like you if you're black, if they can control you. If they can't control you, if they can't get you to do what they want you to do, then they're not going to back you. They'd rather have a white Republican in the office than have a black Democrat that they cannot control. Ain't that cold-blooded, fam? Think about what I just said. The Democratic Party, you would think, because it's the Democratic Party, that they would just want to have, okay, if we can't get a white Democrat, we'll take a black Democrat. We can't get a Hispanic, we'll take a, you know what I mean? You would think a Democrat is a Democrat, right? No, fam. No. That's why I say they're all part of the same gang. Yeah. They're all part of the same gang. All part of the same gang. Why would they do that? They're all part of the same gang. Trump got problems in the midterms. He's going to have problems in the midterms, big problems. They are expecting a landslide sweep for the elections. I'm talking about landslide. They're expecting to get blown out. There hasn't been this type of slaughter in a few decades, probably 50, 60 years. Republicans are preparing to be wiped out. But I'll tell you, I don't know if redistricting might be a cool plan for right now, but I'll tell you what they need to do. They need to get rid of that whole, they need to get rid of those delegates anyway, man. They need to bring, the popular vote should be where it's at. It shouldn't even be no electoral vote. Just go strictly with the popular vote. Strictly with the popular vote. That's scary though, because remember, during slavery, it was very popular to have slavery. So, you know, the electoral is 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other, so to speak. But either way, we're screwed. If you're not in that clique, if you're not in the club, you're screwed. There's no way, no two ways around it. If you're not in the club, you're screwed. But going forward, right now, in a few months, midterms is going to be a disaster because Trump is still going to be president and he's going to use whatever powers he have to try to steal the election. He's going to use whatever powers he have to suppress the vote. He's going to do whatever he can to discourage you from voting. He's going to try to make it hard for you to vote. He's going to try to limit voting locations for Democrats. He's going to try to, he's going to use intimidation, you know, with ICE. He's going to use ICE and other local law enforcement officials to intimidate people. Yeah. But, you know, no matter what they do, it's not going to have nowhere near the impact. The consequences would not be, they won't be anywhere near the severity of what they were when Black people first started going out to vote. They were actually killing people. They would, I'm talking about hanging people left and right. If you tried to vote, They would hang you. If you had a job, your job would tell you if you go vote, you ain't got no job when you come back. Yeah, they would ride up and down the street. They catch you like they would shut down the streets, all kinds of stuff, fam. The uncivilized mutts are cold-blooded. These uncivilized mutts will stop at nothing. That's why you got to be all in. You got to make up your mind like, man, I wish ain't nobody finna handle me like that. I'm not gonna let these uncivilized mutts run me over. You can't allow people to run you over and then go to your house and then try to run your house. I mean, you could, but that would be hypocritical. How you sound? You go out in the public and you let another man run you, intimidate you, scare you. But then you go home and you tell your kids what to do. And some of you are trying to tell your woman what to do. Hey, they're not gonna respect that. But nobody's gonna respect that. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.